Hi there, Happy New Year and welcome back to another video. I gotta say this is by far my favorite list to do at the end of every year. So let's talk about the best budget basketball shoes released in 2024. Pretty straightforward, my hard cutoff line is still at 100 US dollars. So we're only considering shoes with a retail price below 100 bucks. For me, when I think of budget shoes, I think of those you can get for like 80, 90 bucks, sometimes lower, or even dirt cheap, like 40 to 50 after some discounts. When we get to the 3-digit range, the shoes can have great value, yes. I just personally wouldn't associate them with the word affordable or budget. That's always been the case for me. A lot of these top budget shoes this year are also on sale depending on your location. Even more delicious. Looking at this year's top 10 though, I think the performance level is there, but we're missing a lot of new versions of good budget lines. Like what happened to the hardened setbacks, Air Max Impact from Nike. Under Armour didn't really make many this year. They got a really good one though. LeBron Witness kind of stopped at the 8 for over a year now. Anyways, yeah, if you're cheap like I am, if you like affordable hoop shoes, or if you want to see how brands are competing at this lowest price tier, drop a like on the video please. And also consider subscribing if you haven't. Let's get started. At number 10, I have the Adidas Ownthegame 3.0. Honestly, this even became one of those shoes at the front door for me now. $70 is the retail price. Famous footwear, those discounted shoe stores and warehouse shops, that's where you can likely find them, in addition to the Adidas site. The previous version was such a popular shoe. 3.0 is essentially very similar. It gives you a little bit of everything. You can hoop in them, comfort is quite nice, and it feels really smooth on feet. That light motion midsole won't compare against their boost, light strike, or bounce, but it's still sufficient. Doesn't add too much weight or feel bottom heavy. This model, however, on a dusty indoor court, felt a little slippery at times, and that's what limited its ranking at number 10 for me. I do wish the grooves are thicker or deeper. That would have helped with the grip more. Otherwise, standard mesh upper, average width, the outsole is durable enough for outdoor use. Yes, I can confirm that. They're simple and easy to use. Definitely a good, affordable option. Next up at number 9, this shoe you can find for dirt cheap, guaranteed. I've seen it at the Puma outlet for like 25 bucks USD. I believe the original retail price is like $80, but we can at least aim for half price. And that is the Puma Genetics. Surprisingly nice traction with a squeak for a Puma hoop shoe, and that's why I have it higher on the list than Ownthegame 3.0 because of traction. It feels pretty elevated on feet, so not the low to the ground type. For some reason when I played in these, I actually had a subtle bounce under my steps, and it really doesn't feel like a brick, given that it costs less than a meal. So I recently just got another budget shoe from them, the Puma Dagger. I believe you can find these two at around the same price range. Genetics for medium or narrow feet, Dagger for wider feet. I would basically consider it a mid-cut version of their Court Rider series. Anyways, if you're down for some cheap Pumas, these two were solid from the past year. Coming in at number 8, I have Nike's cheapest shoe, the Precision 7. This line needs no further introduction. The Precision 7 carried down the minimal, lightweight, grippy, low-cut type of build, but the silhouette has changed completely compared to the 5 and 6. They went back to the gigantic Nike swoosh on the Precision 4. Traction, I remember on the super dusty YMCA court and another rec league center, very dusty. It was still doing okay for me. So that gives you a nice foundation performance-wise. The material doesn't feel that flimsy, but it does fold or wrinkle awkwardly in some areas, especially near the swoosh. Just a simple and functional shoe from Nike. Don't expect too much. I think you really need a good colorway on a budget model like this. I saw this one at the clearance store that reminds me of a taro ice cream in a waffle cone. They were going for like $50 here in Canada, so less than 40 bucks converted to USD. At number 7, this shoe fell down a little bit compared to its previous versions. I'll explain why, and that is the Adidas Dame Certified 3. Dame Certified 1 and 2, I ranked those high on my budget shoe list. 3 this time still has a decent bounce back in the heel relative to its price at $85. In a sense, it can be considered a mini Dame 9, but 1, it's a lot stiffer on feet, takes a much longer time to break in, and 2, traction was a little bit inconsistent based on my personal experience. Sometimes I'd be able to get to a hard stop with the squeak, sometimes it feels iffy on a lateral movement. Plus, this shoe is kind of heavy. In the same weight class as the Dame 9, but as a takedown model, it is not loaded with good tech, and the material is more like just hard, instead of the supportive type of leather on his main signature shoe. Yeah, lacking a little bit of flexibility, softness, or speed factor, but still a more than solid option, especially if you can find them on sale. 40% off, let's say, go for it. For the next spot, I think this is a gem from Under Armour. We rarely get a budget shoe with decent cushion. When did we ever get a Curry shoe that is waifu friendly? So I'm talking about the Curry Splash 24. It all started when Steph himself wore these during the All-Star Weekend 3-point shootout event with Sabrina. Since then, they released some more dope colorways. Again, a lot of them are discounted as we speak. Biggest highlight, spacious and cozy fit. If we were to look at the width from a top-down view, that is roomy in the midfoot area. Never seen before on a Curry shoe. Material conforms to your movements well. Smooth transition, but maybe most importantly, it comes in their traditional full-length Micro G setup. Compared to most other budget shoes on the market, Micro G is actually on top, in my opinion. Soft enough, but also pretty responsive, and the foam absorbs impact pretty well. Be careful with heel slippage. Being so waifu friendly can turn into being too loose at times, but the cushion is top notch. Very comfortable shoe for most players, I believe. All right, moving into the top 5 now. Holding this spot is the Wade Flash. $99 on waveway.com, sometimes on sale. A bunch of different colorways to choose from. And now they have a different version, a newest version with a leather upper that seems to be more supportive, but I have yet to try that version myself. All of these pairs that I have are extremely light, very breathable. You get amazing ventilation, so your feet won't heat up at all inside. Traction mostly doesn't squeak that much for me, but performance is top tier. This also with the flash symbol does hold up well for outdoor use as well. So here I'm recommending this as a minimal, fast, and great looking choice. Now I just want to point out that a lot of these budget shoes from Chinese brands are only budget shoes in China. For those who don't live there like myself, we usually can't get them at those prices. So that's why I didn't include them out here. Wade Flash will be there on their official site if you want to grab a pair. At number 4, I have a special on this channel. For those who have seen me talking about it, it shouldn't be a surprise. And that is the Lockdown 7 from Under Armour. Lockdown 6 and 7, basically the same shoe. If I were to close my eyes and put one on each foot, I probably can't tell the difference. Under Armour gives us a soft and smooth piece of leather covering the toe box, similar to what they did on the Jet 21. It's just a regular EVA midsole, so cushion technically isn't as good as the Curry Splash 24, but the overall playability and comfort level are up there. No soreness or foot pain triggered, pretty fun to use because over an extended run, you can feel the benefit brought by the fluent upper. Like my toes don't get jammed, my flat feet do not protrude out to the side. Yeah, more like a if you know, you know type of shoe. $70 is the retail price. They now have a lower cut version too. Interesting. Coming in at number 3 is a rare budget shoe from Asics, the Gel-Fastblaze. I know availability sucks, but if you can find them, they shouldn't be above $100 because that's exactly where the retail price is at. I was lucky to cop these on sale for a nasty price. Simply put, they retained all the good features and product identity of an Asics basketball shoe, but came at a much lower price and had way better also durability for outdoors. Asics hoop shoes are usually terrible for outdoor use. The outsole can wear down quickly. Not the case here. These guys are very sturdy and mine is holding up perfectly fine. Guaranteed comfort, smoothly constructed upper. It's a super cozy ride. Underneath your feet, you get quite a nice compression in the heel. No stiffness whatsoever. It's made for outdoors, but traction on an indoor court was fantastic too. Great all-around performer. If you were to talk about a bang for your buck option that is not so commonly seen, it was a Gel-Fastblaze this year for me. For the first and second place, man, I was going back and forth between these two. Basically no bad choice here. Without a doubt, my number 1 and number 2 budget shoes in 2024. Still a ton of different colorways coming out. Some are really, really nice. Both are from Nike. So I guess I'll go with the Giannis Immortality 4 at number 2. From 1 to 4, the Immortality line is continuously evolving in a good way. Since the 3, they started to become bulkier. Now with the 4, they got even stronger. wider, so it's no longer very narrow. The upper is shockingly supportive for a budget shoe. Traction is just safe. Doing those hard pivots, turning and shifting, you should be 100% good to go. By expanding the outrigger part laterally, this one allows you to maintain a stable position on the court, so it doesn't feel shaky or anything. Like a lot of other cheap shoes can be very unstable. Looking back at the 1 and 2, 3 and 4 really saw a significant improvement. 4 is the best of the line. It can hold up well for the bigger players, easy to find at everywhere. Nike, Foot Locker, your local retailers, Famous Footwear, these two, I call them Gengar and Christmas. Probably look nice if I were to do a mismatch. But yeah, there you have it. Finally, at number 1, holding the top spot with the Immortality 4 is the GT Academy. This shoe came out all the way back in January. So for a whole year, I don't think another shoe with a price tag under $100 beats this. I'll jump right into the only reason I would have it a tiny bit higher than the Immortalities. The GT Academy has one of the best traction performances against a dusty floor among all shoes from all brands, not just budget shoes, based on my personal experience. Otherwise, simple and effective. Cushion and the level of bounce back, those are essentially the same as the Immortalities. Quite a bit lighter though. Even though it's named as part of the GT Cut series, the shoe really has nothing to do with the main GT Cuts. But this is Nike budget shoe at its peak. Everything works perfectly fine. Excellent traction, that's the foundation. And then just a little bit of cushion paired with the standard upper and zoom unit. Shit just works so well. Maybe this further proves that they have always dominated by marketing. Signature shoes, I mean, some of them just follow the same formula. And that concludes it for my top 10 budget shoes this year. If you have other good options to suggest for us, hidden gems or underrated hoop shoes under $100, please drop them down in the comment section. Feel free to brag about some great deals you got recently. I love hearing how cheap people bought their shoes for. It urges me to do better and dig deeper. Wishing everybody a fantastic start to the new year. Lots of food, lots of shoes. Spend a lot of time with your loved ones. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon next one.